Is Vladimir Putin finally blinking first? In a surprise midnight move, Russia's leader says he's ready to talk peace, just days after Western allies united in Kyiv. But is it a genuine olive branch, or another game of political chess? In a dramatic turn that stunned many watching the war in Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin has unexpectedly offered to restart peace talks, directly and without conditions. The proposed location? Istanbul. The date? That's Thursday. But the timing? Highly suspicious. This wasn't your average press conference, it was a late-night, last-minute appearance in Moscow, where journalists were left waiting over an hour before Putin finally emerged. And when he did, he dropped a bombshell. Russia is ready for serious negotiations with Ukraine, and they want to start immediately. According to Putin, it's time to tackle what he calls the root causes of the war. So why now? Just hours earlier, the leaders of Britain, France, Germany and Poland stood side by side in Kyiv, united in calling for a full and unconditional 30-day ceasefire starting Monday. The message was clear: stop the war or face even tougher sanctions. And that united front seems to have spooked the Kremlin. Putin's offer comes after nearly 2 years of stalled diplomacy. He claimed he wants a return to direct talks, ones that originally collapsed back in April 2022. This time he says no preconditions, but here's the catch. He's still refusing to commit to the ceasefire that Ukraine and its allies are demanding. BBC Russia analyst Vitaly Shevchenko called it a very unusual move, adding that Putin's message seemed tailored to appear constructive to the West, especially as the pressure from European leaders and potential new sanctions piles on. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, it was a symbolic weekend. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer made his second visit to Ukraine, but his first alongside a European delegation of major players. After holding a coalition meeting, they laid down a united demand: a full truce starting Monday. Not next week, not with strings attached. Now, so what's Putin really up to? BBC security correspondent Frank Gardner says it's classic Kremlin tactics. Muddy the waters. Instead of committing to the ceasefire, Putin's narrative is that he wants to fix the root causes, which in Moscow's view means stopping Ukraine from moving closer to NATO and the EU. In other words, Ukraine must stay in Russia's orbit. But after 2 brutal years of war, Ukraine's changed. Its military has adapted, its drone tech is advancing fast, and support from Europe is growing stronger, especially with US backing appearing to waver under President Trump. And speaking of Trump, his shadow looms large here. French President Macron reportedly phoned Trump immediately after the Kyiv summit. Trump originally floated the 30-day truce idea, but nobody's sure where he stands now. Will he pressure Russia with tough sanctions on countries still buying its oil, or will he try to cut a backroom deal with Putin, sidelining Ukraine altogether? That's the big unknown. Meanwhile, political analysts believe Putin's hand is being forced. Professor Steve Fish from UC Berkeley says Europe's firm stance and the idea that Trump might not be so loyal to Putin anymore could be shifting the balance. As Europe shows leadership and unity, Putin may finally be feeling the heat. Still, don't be fooled. Despite this apparent diplomatic gesture from Putin isn't isolated. Victory Day celebrations in Moscow featured leaders from Venezuela and other non-Western allies, reminding the world he's not alone. But for Ukraine, the line in the sand is clear. Ceasefire now, or face the consequences. As Monday's deadline looms, all eyes are on Istanbul, and whether this offer is a path to peace or just another delay tactic. Final thought, to close the video. Is this the beginning of the end, or just more smoke and mirrors from the Kremlin? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for updates as this high-stakes drama unfolds.